I was a very, very. I mean, I've never been more nervous.
It's at 21 degrees so that he stays cool.
No, I am. It's completely okay. I think, yes.
Chill.
Since couple of days we have been talking about.
No,
it.
just chill.
I was really excited to do it with you. So probably because I was so excited, it's
Just chill. Let's make it fun. And be in your natural version, because you don't want this to become boring for anybody to
yeah.
imagine people have to suffer this.
Oh no, not at all. I want them to.
So don't lose your edge.
Yeah.
Stay fun. All of us are the same people in different levels of our journey. So you are super young and you achieved so much. I wish I had all the skill sets that you have for your age.
Wow.
So
You're like hyping me up like.
No, I'm not.
I like thoda sa hi ho
No, I genuinely believe so. I wish more people could keep doing what they do and building skills and learning from that, and have the humility to know they're all imperfect in some ways and they're all figuring it out.
Yeah, that's a good plug for the podcast. Why do I just want to keep it raw. Kicking.
Let's do it exactly that way. Let's not make it like no uncle feeling should come.
No, all the feelings done.
That's it. Perfect.
In fact, let's talk about similarities that now that you've talked about it, right? You're the one who dropped out of the college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm the one who never went.
Good.
I went to college, never attended or gave exam.
That's most of India, but sure.
So why did you drop out? What was the reason?
I dropped out of MBA because two reasons. One, I felt like this guy in Three Idiots who wanted to learn but not really go for the exams. I was happy to just skip the exams and just learn. I don't think the Indian education format likes that too much. I was very happy doing the presentations and not be writing the written exams. I have a massive phobia with writing long form. That's why I tweet, but I never write long form. I hate it. I can't memorize anything. But I think the education system expected you to be this way. I like to understand things, but not write long forms, because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. And thankfully, the world has moved to short video formats. Who wants to watch this 1 hour podcast anyway, right? So the point is that I realized that all I wanted is to learn. I was doing well in life. I was already running a business by that time, but that format did not allow that, right? Our education format is more designed to this, and I just realized that it was not so much fun, because I rather learn through YouTube University and books and other things, and constantly be on quest to know versus learn. And I think very few people are genuinely interested in knowing, okay, how does this podcasting business work, or how does cred work, or whatever. But everybody seems to have an opinion, but not understanding of it. And I think that's a very interesting point of view. Ask anybody कि Olympics में हमको gold medal क्यों नहीं मिलता है, and everybody will tell you exactly opinion wise क्या, but there is no substance in anybody's research. There is no interest in research. All our life we have copied each other's projects and tried to pass exams, when that was the opportunity to really learn something and go deeper into anything. So we are we are a generation of shallow people, and shallow people have opinions. They don't understand anything.
But do you think we could do something to change it? Because that's a reality. Everybody agrees to.
Yeah, how will we change it? We'll only change it when people truly see there's a benefit of doing this, right? But if you see somebody on Instagram by making this cool content gets millions of followers, and then there is this boring thing of learning something for years and years and eventually make some money, right? So the thing is that the curse of fame is exciting. If you ask every young person, they want to be a YouTube celebrity, but they are not built for it. Only some people are built for it, right? And you can use the words like, oh, nepotism, this, that. Problem is that only few people are designed to be extraordinary, and they will continuously win. By design, can there be 1 million successful influencers? Probably not. But can there be 10 million millionaires? Answer is yes. So to be 10 million millionaires, you should not chase fame. You should chase skill and knowledge and depth and understanding versus fame. But fame is super exciting right now because it gives you so much credibility. You get a blue tick and people are like, I get so many DMs and I'm sure you do, like, how do you get a blue tick? I'm like, why do you want to get blue tick? Why do you care? And nobody's really interested in what your journey is, what you've been. They just want to see your end state. Like there are people I've seen influencers who just have supercars, and there are people who are just following them because they have supercars. And I'm like, but do they have substance? Because people who truly have substance don't feel the need to show it off.
That's true. But do you think, okay, you said like few people are designed to do certain things, but I feel the opposite way, that you need to learn to become anything.
Sure.
Right? So you're not designed to do anything.
Sure.
You have to like eventually do something, keep trying it, and then you are designed for XYZ.
Yes, there is a small nuance though. Can there be 4,000 winners for throwing javelin in the Olympics? But can there be 5,000 millionaires in the month of July 2021? And that's where the difference comes, is that some businesses by design do not have the space for more people to exist. Why do you want to fight for that? When there is unlimited ways to create wealth, very few places. For example, let's say I'm on Instagram. I can watch anybody's content. But I only have 24 hours. So you're competing with every single person who's releasing their podcast. Whereas when you're making money, everybody can make money. A lot of money. And that thing about our country is still not understood. People are still stuck on not understanding what is zero sum, what is not zero sum. And I think that's going to be maybe a few generations before we get there.
Okay, you talked about unlimited ways to create wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say, what are those ways?
Mm-hmm.
But he keeps talking about, oh, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
You should not do something where there's a lot of competition.
Mm-hmm.
How can somebody find some spaces where there's not competition and actually learn to become someone like that?
That's a good question. By design, it comes from understanding of human behavior. Right? All of us will not succeed if we don't understand human behavior. You know by design. Right now the podcast is going on, you know which clip is going to get what views. It's in your head. You know what is the edit that you need to make. Right? We're all wired to do certain things and make certain things work. My view is that all of us are wired to do certain things and get their expertise over a period of time, multiple iterations, right? When we are understanding this human behavior, we understand what is the human motivation behind it. Some people are natural at it. Most people are not. According to me, not having a dating culture is a big reason we are all terrible at human motivation. Right? Because if you have never really convinced anybody to do anything for you, you've never really understood what do they want. It's about what I want. What percent of the country is still in arranged marriage? Probably 90%. Somebody else is going to sell you as a product to an opposite family, and both of them are like, okay, good product, let's get them married. But when you get in the dating world, you are actually testing yourself. Is there a product market fit? Does anybody want me? And how will I learn that? Now I'm giving an example of how to learn human motivation. There are multiple ways to learn that. Once you understand human motivation, you will realize what will people pay for. And that skill set can be learned by trying constantly different things. We all know people in college who made money. All of us know. कोई Xerox करके notes बेचता था. Somebody used to do something else. Somebody organized some trips. One guy took you to, oh, I'll take you to this college event. All of that stuff. And if you go distill it, you'll find out that the core human needs are understood by those people and they can create wealth. Human motivation is a non-going river. Right? Now that everybody's on Instagram, everybody wants to look good. We all want fancy shoes now. Right? Because can we wear the same clothes on Instagram again? No, we want to appear differently, nicely. That's a motivation to understand what will people want, right? I'm giving an example, but let's say we get to the next stage. Everybody wants to build videos, but we do not understand how to make good editing tools. What if somebody made extraordinary editing tools to make good content, made it very easy for millions of people to make high quality edits just the way you do it? What if that was made? That would be a unicorn. What if people like me would edit videos like you through a simple tool? So the thing is that human motivation is constantly shifting. Let's get another example. What if you could create, I talked about how as a kid I used to be terrible at memorizing anything and not do well in exams because Indian education system was not about understanding. Funny enough, I used to score full marks in all vivas and practicals and barely survive written exams, right? I'm sure there'll be more kids like me. Now, what if you could create a product which made it easy for people like me to memorize using video and tools and techniques that you learned from your podcasting skills, which made it easy for kids to remember their education? Can you make a lot of money? Answer is yes. So the thing is that the crux of creating wealth is about solving problems of people that are currently not solved well. And people have deep desire to solve that problem by paying money for it.
And that can be only done when you understand what people.
Yeah, and deeply be interested in people and their motivations.
True. I would say this thing, right? Like, because you pointed out that you need to create, let's say, editing tools or anything of that sort. I always say you need to be on the producer side of something which you're consuming the most. And that's how you can achieve wealth.
That's a good framework. We are consumers of so many things. If we become producers of that, we'll all create wealth. It makes a lot of sense, that framework.
It's like anything which on, let's say if I am, for example, I play PUBG the whole day. Just giving an example. Like if I play PUBG the whole day, instead of just consuming that, what if I can figure out to create content around that?
I would add one nuance to this framework of yours. What do I spend time on? What do I spend money on? These are two currencies that you're wasting or spending. You can have a lot of wealth. You could potentially spend 1 crore a month. Let's say somebody is super rich. Jeff Bezos could spend 10 crores a day. But you, me, Jeff, everybody has 24 hours a day. Which means, if you understand how people spend their time and their money and became producer of that, you can create wealth. And it's important to understand the nuance. Everybody has different amounts of money to spend. Everybody has the same amount of time to spend. And therefore, people who control time actually become more wealthier over a period of time, as long as they get the right people's time. Let's take an interesting point of view now. There are two types of transactions in human life. Boring transaction, interesting transactions. Let's define what is boring transaction. Fueling your car. Nobody has ever been excited. Who? Aaj petrol bharenge gaadi mein. Correct? But we are very excited to watch that funny clip and that new show that everybody's talking about and that movie that seems to be being discussed in the office. Aaj shaam ko dekhte hain. So if you look at human life's framework, all of us are trying to reduce time and money spent on all boring things and invest in all the transactions that are interesting. Planning a vacation. Nobody is like, yaar, nahi, 5 minute mein decide kar leta hai. People love the process of planning this, that, ye karenge, wo karenge. Like imagine Indian households planning weddings. Nobody wants efficiency over there. कि ये एक वेबसाइट है, यहाँ से मेहंदी वाले को ऑर्डर करेंगे, खत्म. No, they want to call this person and call that person on Instagram and suffer. because they get joy out of it. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're making a business that will remove the time and money spent on things that people hate doing, imagine you create a product where nobody needs to charge their phone. It's always charged.
Brilliant product. I won't buy it.
Exactly. So the point is that it will happen one day. It will happen, charging may happen through air. And who knows, that might be happening in our lifetime. And that'll be amazing. What if nobody has to fuel their car or charge their car? Just parking is enough. And I'm saying that it'll all likely to happen in our lifetimes because nobody has enjoyed this. And by the way, let me put an example. 2 petrol pump खोलता है यहाँ पे. One guy gets 2 rupees cheaper. People will just go there. Nobody has any joy. Right? But if you create a shoe store and this is expensive, you actually want that. Versus that. कि सस्ता ले लेते हैं.
So it's like the boring things people just they wanna avoid doing it. B, they want to save cost on it.
They don't want to spend time on it. They don't spend money on it.
And interesting, they want to spend both the things.
They live
All
for it.
opportunities in just this one answer, right? And you like this just there. It's a massive mind shift. Like if people can understand that and start observing day-to-day life, I think in next 1 month, they can be filled with a lot of ideas just by observing other people.
Yep.
Talking about ideas and talking about production, okay? Like becoming the producer of what you do. Every time you have come up with a startup that's free charge, paisa back, okay, credit. All of them have revolved around rewards.
Yep.
Free money.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, is that because consumers tend to love that more, or why that? Why do you have this kind of...
See, whenever we are trying to change behavior, we have to always put incentive to change the behavior. Right? Let's take an example of parents trying to get people hooked on to temple. Is a kid interested in God? No. What do they go to temple for?
Just prasad. Yeah.
Prasad. Have you ever seen any temple with kadwa prasad? Will they be successful? So I'm not inventing anything. It's always been there. What I'm trying to say is that if you're trying to incentivize somebody to do a good behavior, we all have become better human beings by incentive systems. Your parents would have told you, okay, if you do this good behavior, there is some incentive for you. If you do some bad behavior, there is punishment for you. I'm not in the business of giving any punishments. I can only give incentive for good behavior. So what we said at credit is very simple. If you pay your credit card bills on time, we'll incentivize this behavior so that you feel good about it. You feel good about improving your credit score. You feel good about paying your bills on time. Because if you don't pay on time, there's crazy amount of interest to be paid. There is a lot of financial losses that you may suffer if you don't do this in time. So all of our thinking has been around incentivizing good behavior because eventually you will benefit from it. You don't need the incentives anymore. You will just appreciate it.
True. And that's how I think we have learned anything and everything. Everywhere. Like there is either validation in terms of doing something good.
Correct.
Or there's like monetary.
Yeah. So either you give me likes or give me cash.
Yeah.
Actually, just pause for a second. Think about so many people who create content on social media. Only few make money. But everybody gets likes. And they're making content day in and out, thinking about it. Kya video click karu? What should I say funny? Which dance step should I do? So that people like me. And the funny thing is, social media platforms use your need of likes to give you the audience and then sell ads on it. It's fascinating. Yeah, imagine this in the offline world is basically, I create let's say I created this society make big ground with stages and allow performers to perform on that stage. People will come for that and I'll just set up shops around it.
That technically happens also.
It does. I'm saying it's just become more efficient. Instagram is nothing but stages given to people. Every now and then I shift audience to your stage. They applause and go to the next stage for every 10 seconds.
And that's such a brilliant model because people who don't have money put all their efforts and money to or put all their efforts and time to get those applause. And people who have money, they spend money to get those.
Yeah,
It's like a brilliant win-win model.
it is. And here's the interesting part now. You become popular, right? You can monetize that through cash. A lot of popular people get into politics. You will see singers have become politicians, actors have become politicians, comedians have become politicians, artists, cricketers. How many times you've seen politicians become cricketer, artists, comedians, any of that? Rarely, never, probably. Because there is one ladder of status that you climb to ultimately get the highest amount of status and power. And it's one-way street. But if you make money, multiple people can exist. Parliament में तो इतनी seats है. Is there a guideline by the country that only we can have 250 millionaires, nothing more than that? Or 11-member cricket team versus we can have only 10 billionaires. बाकी सबको निकालना पड़ेगा.
Never like that. Actually, this gets me to a good question that a lot of new unicorns and startups in India are also coming. Like now people say that India, let's bet on India, India for time, all of that is going on. And a lot of these people are coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. Do you think just like West, we're going to see a lot of billionaires in India or are we far away from those people?
By design, we will have a few. To be doing it consistently requires fundamental changes. For example, you cannot create billionaires if the country's per capita income is not changing. 65 to 68% of the country's income is still dependent on agriculture. Can you guess what percentage of US income is dependent on agriculture? How many people in US are dependent on agriculture for making an income? Take a wild guess. Less than 1%. Right? Because you don't need that many people, farmers. You can do automation. Today, most farming can be done without a human being. They have to move to higher skills thing. We don't have those skills. Right? Second thing is women participation of labor. Less than 6% of urban Indian women have any financial income. In China, 96% probably have financial income in urban China. That's how they got prosperous. When two genders work, they create more jobs. Think about your family member who both the genders are working, right? Or both the partners are working. Then they'll say, Nani rakh lete hain. Or we'll have two drivers. And then we do more things and we'll buy this and we'll buy this table also. It creates more and more jobs. Imagine only one gender works or one partner works.
Which is happening in my house. And it's so true. Like, because now that more people in my house are working, more genders in my house are working, we have employed, right? Like you.
Yeah. But now here's the thing. We are so delusional. We don't realize, for example, Bangladesh, which is our neighboring nation, the urban female participation of labor is 68%. And therefore, they have crossed us on per capita income. Most people don't know about this. We are like, Bangladesh are coming to our country. No, they're not going to come to our country. Very soon, they'll put restrictions on our people going there. Because their per capita income has taken off. Because both the genders are working. Pakistan has more female participation of labor than India.
Why is that? Why do you feel that's the reason, and what can we do to change it?
Well, talk about it first of all. Most people have no clue about it. Everybody says this thing, they ask, okay, घर पे सब women काम करती है, नहीं वो तो बच्चे हो गए तो they are like busy with that. MBA school पढ़ाई की थी, they are taking care of kids. Are we okay with it? Are we culturally okay with it? And I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong. I'm just saying we cannot dream to be having billionaires when the per capita income is not changing. Right? Everybody is happy to get free subsidies. For example, the classic thing I find the funniest thing about Indians is they keep talking about petrol prices going up. So I tell them that if you compare 20 years ago petrol price kitna growth hua, in 20 years ago bhelpuri ka cost kitna upar gaya. The inflation on that is much higher. How come nobody is complaining about bhelpuri? Because we don't understand inflation. Right? We have no clue what inflation means. But we can fight on one topic. And therefore keep past the country only has X percentage of people using cars or any vehicles. We need to increase the income, not try to expect things to become cheaper.
That's you talk about. Like, this is too much to take into be very honest. No, this is making sense, and it makes more sense. And actually, this is sad because if you see culturally, even the top people who who are really doing well, they're okay with all of this. And they are the ones, like, I know a lot of people who are multi-millionaires, even they're talking about like old traditional business, they're talking about, yeah, dekho petrol ka price to upar hi ja raha hai. Like, people who are doing stuff,
Yeah.
Now, talking about all of this, I want to understand, where can people learn all of this? Like, how do we start? What do we do? Let's make it simple for everybody who's listening to this. Like, what are these 1, 2, 3, 4 steps which somebody can take? Learn about inflation, learn about capitalism, because you love to talk about it.
I think the simplest method is take one word that you got interested in, inflation. Spend 1 hour on YouTube finding everything about it. While you watch that video, you'll learn one more word. Spend 1 more hour finding about that word. Then you will discover one more word. Find more about that word. Over 2 years' time, you will be smartest than all the people in your classroom, or anybody in your family, or all the people in your family WhatsApp group. It's very simple.
People don't want to do it.
Because वो cool content कब देखेंगे यार? वो बढ़िया trend आया है dance का, वो कब?
So, okay, so I get this word a lot, right? Cool. How do we make it cool?
You cannot make it cool. It will only happen when people get interested in becoming rich versus famous.
But right now, he wants to become.
No, they want to become famous. They're not wanting to be rich. There's no interest in becoming rich. They want the goods you get by becoming rich, which allows you to show off. Nobody wants to really be rich.
Wow. Now, how do let's say, I want to ask you this because I think content is going to shape culture. Like, okay, content will, I am who I am is the content I've conceived.
Correct.
So, how can content creators make it cool?
I think the good thing that I'm seeing a lot of content creators are doing, like someone like you, is just asking questions on people's behalf, which is creating new vocabulary in people's head. And I really hope that they don't take this video as knowledge and make this as, let's say from this, can we learn 2-3 words to go curious about and really understand it? I think the biggest thing that needs to become cool is that you really understand something. Or you are the superficial guy, upar se sab kuch pata hai, right? Do we want to really become good at something? Right? The deep need to be really good at something is the only way we'll change as a country, right? And the need for excellence, the need for yaar ekdam perfect karna hai, kitne logon mein? For our own sake, not because somebody else is telling us to do something perfect. How many employees create really good presentations for their own good, not because the boss has asked them to make it? We avoid work. अरे यार ये बहुत दिमाग खाता है बॉस ये सब करने के लिए, छोड़ो यार, let me go chill with my friends. That's fine. Then you'll get that in your life. You'll stay chilling with your friends. And the friend who will likely stay chilling with you will also stay with you. They'll also not grow in life. The point is that why don't you want to make a perfect presentation because you are proud of it? Not because anybody else liked it or not. You are absolutely proud of it.
It doesn't happen because I feel one of the reasons is because since we were kids, we have been taught to get validated. I mean, so like when we were kids, I remember when you're like 4 or 5 year olds, mom उनको तैयार करती है and then ask that kid कि जाओ बेटा पापा को दिखाओ कैसे दे, like पूछे.
Correct.
From that age, we have been like
Perfectly
taught to get validation from someone else. Never, I don't remember कि किसी ने बोला हो कि बेटा कांच में देखो तुम कैसे लग, how are you feeling about it?
It's a good point. We live our life through somebody else's lens, and some of this word comes from what's called collectivist societies. And you should look up what is collectivist society and find interesting stuff about it, right? Collective societies constantly stay in control by making center of importance somebody else. So it stays subdued in some ways because you're always trying to look good in other people's eyes, right? But actually, let's do an imaginary story, right? Imagine there is a kid in the village who's not liked by everybody. Rude type guy, thinks he's very smart, whatever. And this is ancient times. And nobody really talks to that kid. Nobody likes to be with that kid, whatever. But the kid was very smart. So the kid invented a bucket. And that bucket solved the problem of carrying water from the water stream back to the village. And suddenly everybody's happy because they can store water. And suddenly this kid became rich. And everybody wants to get their daughter married to this kid. All the guys who did not like this kid before. And all the guys are like, अरे यार मैं तो उसको स्कूल से जानता हूँ. वो तो मेरे घर पे खाना आता था. हमने क्रिकेट खेला था साथ में. Just because that kid became rich. So what I'm trying to say is that there are alternate methods of getting validation also. Because ultimately you will notice one thing, that as soon as somebody becomes successful, people will say, "Arey, wo to hamara," and there is a concept in psychology called as basking in reflected glory, which means as soon as some success happens, we attribute it to ourselves. Oh, all the CEOs of global companies are Indians. But boss, they don't have Indian passport anymore. Like, they just have Indian origins. But we love to attribute it to ourselves. Okay, Google CEO is also Indian. Microsoft CEO is also Indian. But I'm like, boss, they're not in India. They don't have Indian passport. So the point is that we love to attribute everybody else's success to us, right? Oh, you are also Gujarati. Oh, you are also from Indore. Oh, you also like wearing these shoes. Oh, like we find similarities to attribute their success to us.
Yeah, like we always want to do that. And I don't know who did this, but by default we all do. Yeah, everybody does this. Okay, now before we end this, and I want to before we go to the fun section.
Sure.
I have a last question, because you talked about behavior, or you talked about we love to attribute. I was reading about you, and you were given 5 rupees when you were in 5th class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To go to positive bank.
Yep.
And that
for doing a job. Free में नहीं मिल रहे थे.
So I thought you were given every.
No, I had to work in my family's shop, and my salary was 5 rupees a day to go deposit in the bank.
Do you think that's a major reason why you got interested in finance or making money? Or do you think...
I think some families in India who are business families, they are naturally interested in money because they discuss money on dinner table. They talk about taka and percentages a lot more. In many families, talking about money is considered to be shameful. Like you are like a lower being if you discuss money. And therefore our relationship with money is messed up. Whereas we all live in this universe created through money, but our relationship with money is like, don't discuss it, don't talk about it. Like, dinner table pe mat karo. People don't talk about them having loans. It's awkward to borrow money, lend money. Like, we just launching a product tomorrow or day after, which is called Credment, where Cred members can invest in other Cred members who are all credit-worthy, trustworthy individuals. And it's our first community product where they get up to 9% on investing in Cred members, and they can Cred members can borrow from that same pool. Because we realize that this is a perfect thing. Like, everybody's credit-worthy, trustworthy. You should be able to come together and invest in this. But we are fairly certain it's still not going to be talked about. People will be quietly doing this behavior of taking loans. Like, we are the leading fintech lender in India. but you will never see a tweet about taking loans from credit because it's a private behavior. And it's going to be very, very powerful for us to create a high trustworthy community to build on top of that. But what at the core of it, we are trying to improve relationship with money. We don't want people to like not talk about it.
And it's considered like that. I like loan in my family also. Like we talk about money openly.
Yeah.
But the moment you talk about loan nahi lena.
Correct.
Nahi,
Correct.
ye nahi.
Perfect.
And you are in the, like you talk about making people wealthy. Like
Correct. Correct. Correct.
And you read about financial gurus family, ki credit card se do.
And so first of all, are they really wealthy is my question. Every wealthy person has become wealthy by taking a lot of loans. You think Ambanis don't take loan? Tatas don't take loan? All of them have taken loan. Do you think Amazon does not take loan? Apple does not take loan? And have they not taken loan to get where they are today? So the answer is everybody has. But the question is that because we are terrible at managing money, we say, yaar, nahi mat karo. See, I'll tell you what happens. Emotional societies operate from apathy to panic.
Explain.
Let me explain. Look at our behavior with COVID. Complete panic, complete apathy. Arey kuch nahi. Chalo. Same way, in matters of loan, we do the same thing. Nahi, theek hai. There's no middle stance. I so often make this joke that India mein nobody does App Store mein 2-star, 3-star, 4-star rating. It's either 1-star or 5-star. We operate from love and hate only.
Because that's true. That's like my Uber behavior.
Which is exactly what I'm talking about. So the thing is that credit cards are not bad. It's like saying knife is bad. Yeah, if you hold it from the wrong side, yes, you will get hurt. But knife has made human life better. Can you say WhatsApp is bad? Oh, we blame WhatsApp if somebody sells a problematic content to somebody. Does WhatsApp make it bad? Or people make it bad? So the question is that every time you introduce new technology, the first reaction, you go back in history and study all the PR that came when cars were invented. For decades, it was hated. Now, we don't even think about this. So every time you do something that is new and different, and because we do not understand, it turns into fear and hatred.
That's such a... It's so much... like, I have it's like Masterclass 101, Raj. Everything you think about, it's shattered right now. Now go think about something new. Really insightful. Now I want to read it, like, I don't want to take much of your time. I want to quickly go to the last segment of it.
Sure.
I want to leave people with that thought that there are few things we talk about. One was start talking about it. Second is improve your relationship to the things that you want to do. Third was if you're interested in anything, pick up one word, learn, spend 1 hour, pick up another word, spend another hour. Then, apart from all of that, think about why you do certain things, why people do certain things, and why you always are operating from just two different, like extreme point of views, like love or fear.
Correct.
And if people can just think about these things, I think a lot of people will start seeing their day-to-day life differently because it's a lot to think.
But now you did not say it powerfully, like point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. Why didn't you do that? That's your style, man.
Wait, before we get down to the most fun part of our podcast, this segment is where we ask our guests to answer freely, where they don't have to think about anything and answer in a befikar mentality, which is exactly what CoinSwitch Kuber believes in. If you want to start trading in cryptocurrencies, CoinSwitch believes that start your journey without worrying about anything. Trade kar befikar with CoinSwitch Kuber.
The last segment was...
It's only like impromptu session.
Sure.
Because I want to tell people that you are normal. Everybody is normal.
Sure.
So imagine you were about to get hired,
Mm-hmm.
correct? And you're giving it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you the 5 most basic popular questions.
Okay. Okay.
And you have to like instantly answer them.
Cool. I hope I get hired.
Yeah. So this is your job interview.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the most basic question. Cliche. Why do you want to work at this company? We talk about tech. No.
I realized that I want to work with people better than me, and seems like credit is a place where most people are better than me. So I'm only here to improve myself, and I think this will be a best place to work for that.
Lovely. What is your weakness?
Uh, being not being able to stay focused on one thing because I'm excited and interested in everything.
That's a good strength, actually. Perfect. Now, tell me who Kunal Shah is outside your CV, or let's say outside of the world people know about.
Somebody who's eternally seeking truth, sometimes by learning, sometimes by building companies, sometimes by sharing, sometimes by meeting smart people, and hopefully I will never find it before I die, and that will make my life permanently interesting.
Ooh, that's a very mom kind of. What do you do after you leave office?
I try to think about my day. I am trying to get into a habit of playing some version of sport because I realize that I need to be away from my phone and I need some forced conditions for that. And I'm trying to get into a habit of watching some content. I struggle with time.
And you can follow that.
Sure, I do follow.
But the last question is, you talk a lot about hourly rates, like people should know about their hourly value.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to become someone's assistant,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your hourly?
That's a good question. I would want to become assistant to many people who are generally much better than me. And because I'm going to learn so much from them, I'll make it free. Because the value that I'll get per hour from being around them is going to be so much more valuable than charging them any money.
Wow, that's so good. ये क्यों ऐसे यार? I wanted you to put it like a different position so that you think, oh मैं क्या सोचूंगा क्या बोलूंगा. You just kill it. What sporting event?
I'm getting into badminton. I am not very good at it, but I only play with people who are better than me.
Wow. I need to like prepare for a year and then come down.
Sure, it'll be fun.
It'll be definitely fun. Thank you so much for doing this. It was pleasure having you. We got a lot of answers. We didn't stick to any framework.
Cool.
I hope that's okay. We
Perfect.
didn't stick to any question which
I'm glad we did that way because it's boring otherwise.
yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you.
See you.
Thanks.